everybody. I'm Larry Evans, and I'm here today talking with my dear friend, Amy Sheetz. Hi, Amy.
Hey, Larry. Hey, Larry.
How are you doing?
Really well, really well. Excited
And
to be talking to you today.
I have a feeling that you're far away. Where are you?
Well, Texas, a whole different world. About 3 years now. Moved to Galveston. It's a barrier island. Um, Love took me away from North Carolina.
Right.
I sure do miss it. I'm very homesick for the theater family and all the people that I love there. So,
Well, I'm actually in Florida right now, and it's just a great area. I'm on a horse farm, and everybody says, "Why don't you just move here?" And it's like, yeah, but what's the theater like here?
yeah. Well, it's probably not happening there either. So.
No. So let's just begin. Some people probably remember you as Amy Bossy, so you're pretty well
Right.
known in the area and stuff. So
Yeah.
when did you first get the acting bug?
Well, I did do a little bit of acting in elementary school, way back. And then when I was 11 years old, I auditioned for a Park District play outside of school. The play was Rapunzel and the Witch. And I wanted to play the witch, but of course I ended up getting Rapunzel. And that was my first, out of school play. And after that, I took classes. I rode my bike back in the day where you could ride your bicycle 4 or 5 miles to go to improv classes. Any class that was available, I went. So it was a very early, getting bit by the bug very early.
So after school, when people actually came in, what was the first show you did after school?
Well, after college, my first show was at Old Orchard Country Club. It's a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I did Equus. I played Johnson. And Old Orchard Country Club was very conservative theater. The audience didn't know what to make of it. I was paid 1% of box office per performance. I think I still have that contract because it was a big deal at the time. But that was my first show after college.
Yeah, and actually, folks, she's told me some stories about that, which I can't really repeat right now. Just audience reaction to the content in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a mentor when you started out?
No, I've never had a mentor. I had some college professors, Southern Illinois University, that meant a lot to me and gave me good advice and good coaching.
Yeah.
That I appreciated a lot.
I'm going to go back to Equus, okay? So you're just starting off as an actress, and you do such a demanding part as Equus. Were you aware how demanding it was, and how young you were to play the part?
I was very afraid of that role. In fact, the director said, "Are you able to be nude on stage?" And I said, I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I've not done that, and I'm not sure if that's something that, I want to do. And he ended up casting me anyway, and had made the nude scenes not totally, right? They were partially.
Yeah.
To wear socks and underwear.
Oh.
the audience, ooh, when we kiss or whatever, Ellen sang the part. Yeah, they were very verbal, and it was you felt very vulnerable and very frightened on stage.
Yeah, I bet so.
Yeah.
Have you ever got some great advice about acting?
I think very early on in college, Professor Cannon, an acting teacher, had told me to not judge your character. I did something, the National Health, I think it was called, and I played a part of a woman that was very intolerant, and she had terrible things to say about people in wheelchairs or old men with hair growing out of their ears, and just these ugly things she would say about people, judging them. And he said, "I don't think you like her." And I said, "I don't." And he said, "Well, you can't play that part.
Right.
That you can't say my character's a horrible person. They don't think of themselves that way.
Right.
You have to find the positives. The negatives are already there." And I thought that was great advice, to not judge the character. So
yeah, I catch myself saying, well, the audience doesn't have to like your character.
yeah. You have to like your character, though, no matter what.
Yeah, you have to justify why you're doing all this and stuff.
Right.
Do you have a favorite theater or film actor?
I have many. Kate Blanchett comes to mind
Right.
for me. She's terrific. She's a chameleon.
Right.
Um, Daniel Day-Lewis, I
Right.
like the way he works. I like the idea of doing method as much as you possibly can.
Right.
Um, then of course then at ones that everybody loves. Meryl Streep,
Right.
Robert De Niro, especially back in Raging Bull days. Um, there are a lot more. One that pops into my mind too is Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Oh, I
who's
know.
with us, a wonderful actor. I always kind of followed his career, and
Right.
uh, he's just gritty, just gets it, and again transforms.
Right.
Heath Ledger is another one that I thought was going to be.
And you
Yeah.
turned me on to Laurie Metcalf, you know.
Oh yeah, Laurie, sure, she's great.
Yeah. What happened at your worst audition?
I don't have a good story for the worst audition. I would say they all were terrible. Mostly what I like to say about that is you have to get to the point where you go, you do it, and you let it go. In other
Right.
words, just assume you didn't get it. You're better off that way. And I really learned to do that in commercial auditions. So you go in, you do your read, your slate, and you leave, and then you just forget about
And
it. It's difficult though.
I'm trying to remember because you and I
Start over.
have gone to auditions together as friends. And I think in most cases you got cast and I didn't. And I don't remember how you let me know that you got cast. I'm truly supported you, but I'm sure you were worried like, oh, well, Larry didn't get cast, but you know, I got cast.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. What is a favorite show you've been in and why?
Oh boy, there's a lot of those too. Boy, there's a lot. Well, the first thing that pops into my mind, and you probably already know because the play has meant everything to me for a million years, that is A Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams, playing Stella.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. She was down to earth. He brought her off those plantation columns, and
Right.
and it was a very sensual and challenging role, 12 scenes.
Yeah.
For comedies, probably the most recent that I really loved was The Divine Sister
Right.
with Hafner and Allison.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
One thing I've always admired you about Amy is that you throw vanity out when you pick a role. You know, if she's supposed to be a crouched over a little child spitting out or an old witch, you just go for it. You know, you're not worried about, okay, I don't look attractive and stuff. You know, you've always been good about just throwing that out. It's like, no, it's about the character, not how pretty I look on stage.
Now, those are my favorite parts.
Right.
I like parts where there's a physical disability. I also enjoy dialects, but to have a character that's flawed physically, I'm really attracted to that.
Yeah, why would we do it without having a flaw in the character?
Yeah.
Is there a role you still want to play or you've always wanted to play?
Well, the roles that I want to play, I've aged out of probably, but I've always wanted to, and I'm completely wrong for it, and that would be Martha.
Yeah.
In Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yeah.
It's just, she's fun. I know that play is probably pretty tired for a lot of people now these days. She's just,
No, it's some damn Betty Davis picture. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just the lines she gets to see. Albie's lines are wonderful.
I know.
I always wanted to play Curly's wife.
Yeah.
A big part.
Right.
I came to know that play in college and always wanted to play it. It's like a piece of my heart.
Right.
Sonia and Uncle Vanya is another one that I was really determined to be in. And of course I didn't get cast. I also feel like if there were a female version of Midnight Cowboy, I'd like to play Ratso.
That's what I want. Ratso.
Well, we could share it,
Yeah, we already know who can play John Boyd's character and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there a type of actor you enjoy working with the most?
An actor who is generous and kind, has a great sense of humor, not predictable. I don't think that, I mean, I've read a lot of books on acting, and I feel like consistency is the death of good acting. So
Right.
somebody who tries different things, we don't even have to talk about it. If you know what you're doing,
Right.
story, if you throw something new out there, it makes everything fresh. So somebody who's courageous, you know, and just willing to put their all into it and love it.
Well, I want to tell the folks out there is probably how Amy and I became friends. We met in 1996, and we met after a show that I was in, and you and I started talking about theater, and we just absolutely clicked because we were just on the same page about why we do this and what it means to us and all that. So, you know, we all have best moments on stage. Do you have a couple that you could talk about?
That's a tough one. I feel like the best moments on stage are when you kind of feel transported. You really become that character. You kind of get lost on it, and you know, the parts where you come off stage and you feel, was I just on stage? You know,
Yeah.
strange feeling of, I know I just did that, but you get so immersed that you let go of yourself.
Right.
You're really into that moment with that character. There's a time when I did Extremities,
Wow.
and this is a play that was, you know, I think most people know about rape and
Yeah.
things like that. And I actually didn't want to play that part because I thought that's too much. I'd rather play one of the roommates.
Yeah.
But I did end up getting it, and I ended up loving being in it. But I dreamt it. You know, it was with me all the time.
Right.
So when it finally closed, it actually extended for another 6 weeks, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so there it was, just with me, and it was difficult. But then when we closed, I remember this feeling of the character just kind of, you know, shedding from me. I was like, we had done our curtain call, we went backstage, and I just went into a dark corner of the dressing room and just felt this release, like this energy, like it kind of came out of me and stuff. But yeah, there's moments like that. They're hard to really recall because you're so involved, you're so
Right.
drenched in it. That's what makes it really special.
I have a lot of moments as well, but like I think I told Kathleen that it's like picking your favorite child because, you know, the great moments at the time. It's and what's interesting, and we've talked a lot about it, is like they're so fleeting as well too. I mean, you have this great moment in a play, and then you go to your next play, and it might be 3 years before you look back and go, "Oh yeah, I remember those moments and stuff."
Yeah,
If we
they're
could just,
very, very special.
if we could just bottle up that stuff, right?
Well, the actor person always has to come back, right? Because
Right.
you move on to the next thing. You might have to move furniture. You might have to. So it kind of takes you out of it. It's like, you know, some forms of meditation.
Right.
When you're in this mental state, but then you think about that mental state, and now you're out of it. So it is fleeting. So, but good, really good.
What is one of the funniest moments you ever had on stage?
Oh boy, there's a lot of them, and that's what makes theater so much fun. But ones that come to mind, again, the first one would be, I'll go in order of when I've done these plays. It was Actors Comedy Lab, Dead Man's Cell Phone,
Oh yeah.
and I was supposed to have like a somewhat of a, not a wrestling match, but there was some violent, you know, choreographed violence. And Marissa Nagel is supposed to knock a gun out of my hand. And, you know, you know how to do that, right? Well, this one I control, and the gun went all the way down the hallway at the Getty Goodwin Theater. And so I had, you know, it happened before where it kind of got out of the area, and you just search to do, you find it, boom. And then I'm supposed to shoot her. And this one time, the gun was just gone. I mean, it really shot out there. And so I'm looking, and, you know, time warp on stage, right? I said, I just have a moment to make a decision. So instead of continuing to look for the gun, I just went, oh, snap, I got to do this. So I went at her and choked her out.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of using the gun. And then another time in Divine Sister, I had played, I think, 2 or 3 characters in that show. And one of them was this old, craggy char woman. She had a Scottish dialect and a long gray wig with a long snake braid, and it was really ugly wig. And, you know, my hair was down to my waist. My natural hair was down to my waist. So that thing was just like, I'm packing that hair in, you know, put the cap on, pins. Well, I didn't pin enough opening night. I go to the bench and I've got my bottle of scotch, and the wig just literally just popped my head and landed in my lap. So I just stayed in character.
Yeah.
I started cussing, you know, this Mrs. McDuffie, son of a, you know, and I just
Yeah.
put the wig back on, and man, exit round, you know, exit the bus and everything.
Yeah.
The audience really appreciated because they knew. I mean, it just, you know, the pressure just popped.
Yeah, we don't want to admit to that. The audience loves when mistakes happen and how we recover from it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's everything. Yeah. So
Not that we want the mistakes to happen. What?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't want them to, but boy, they're gonna. And you
Yeah.
got to be in. You can't let it throw you. You just have to stay in there and stay with the character. And luckily, the character I was playing, it kind of fit.
Yeah. Yeah, that fear, you know, the time I went on stage, forgot to put pants on. Oh no.
Yeah, the actor's nightmare.
Yeah.
The actor's nightmare things. Yeah.
Yes.
I recently had a dream like that.
Yeah.
I was actually, it wasn't the typical one where I didn't know the play. I was in a play and I said, "Hey, Mario, what time is it?" And he said, "It's 8 o'clock." And I was at home.
Yeah.
And I literally woke up screaming. I'm going to have to tell him, you know, tell him I died. What, you know, because I wasn't going to be on time for the show.
Right.
That was a recent actor's nightmare. Terrible.
Yeah. At least we know that people would call us and say, "Are you doing the show tonight, Amy?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? What a horrible thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you couldn't be an actor, what else would you want to do in the theater community?
I think that, and I have the greatest respect, but I would like to be a playwright if I could. Yeah. A playwright, to write the stories and see them come to life would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and talk to the young Amy when you first started acting, what advice would you tell yourself?
A lot of things. I guess the main thing is to cherish every moment that you have, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to do what we do. It's, I would say, just really cherish it. Don't be so into your head.
Right.
You know, you create all kinds of things in your mind and then it doesn't come out. You've got to open up and let them and share it with the audience. So those are a couple of things I would tell myself, but mainly really to be grateful about it. Really cherish it.
Do you ever look back when your days in Chicago and think that you were just starting off to be pretty well known as an actress and you left? Do you ever think about, well, what if I stayed in Chicago? And
oh yeah. Yeah. I had a wonderful agent, Shirley Hamilton. Right. I don't even know how that happened. She was huge and I had wonderful auditions, opportunities, but I wasn't ready. I didn't have the confidence. I was afraid to drive into the city of Chicago, and I had to go by myself. Right. By the time you get to the casting, you're a wreck. Right. But yeah, I do think about that because geography has a lot to do with the success level that you can reach. But I try to measure success not by money or fame, but just getting great parts, being sought after. This is a great part for Amy. You know, those are little successes, you know, when they want to work with you, that's nice, you know, but yeah, certainly it was, you know, a mistake in a way to live in a big city where you could do more. Yeah. And you've had some pretty famous celebrities see your work as well, right? Oh yeah. In Key West, Roy Scheider saw a play, Talking With, actually. Yeah. Oh yeah. And he picked out, I think 7 or 8 of us and said they could play this anywhere. Oh, really? Yeah. Of course, Shel Silverstein. Oh, wow. I did a play called, well, there was a couple plays he saw me in, and I played these demented children, you know, small in stature. I was get cast a lot younger back in those days. So I was playing 12, 14-year-olds, but they were crazy. You couldn't get a 12-year-old to do stuff. But he went around the table after a show one night and congratulated everybody, but he passed over me. And I had gotten out of my makeup and everything and was at a dinner table, whatever. And a fellow actor said, "Oh, you missed, that's Amy. She played Lily Agnes."
Yeah.
And he was blown away by that. And he told the director, my friend, Richard Magasis, he said, either she's insane or she's a great actress.
Oh, yeah.
So, really nice. So.
Which one is it?
Oh, both.
Yeah, it sort of has to be and stuff.
It depends on the moment, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, try to explain to non-actors, you know, why we're always working on monologues or talking to ourselves. And
Yeah. A little kooky, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, you're stuck in Texas. What's the first thing you want to do after the virus is over with and we actually can go out and see people?
Well, this goes on to the vanity side, but I haven't had my hair done since mid-February, so that would be good. But really what I want to do is I'd like to audition for a play. You know, if I get cast, great. If I don't, that's great. I would like to audition. It's fun, and I'd love to do that again. It's been a while. So.
How is the theater community there?
It's a lot smaller in this area, and you know, eventually when things go back to semi-normal,
right,
to get into Houston and do some things, maybe even get an agent again. Who knows?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think we're pretty spoiled in Raleigh.
Oh, there's so much talent there. Yeah. Huge. Lots of theater. I really miss it. I really do. Very homesick for the Triangle.
Amy and I both had a mentor about 15 years ago named Bob Hazard, who taught at Wayne University and retired here and started doing theater at RLT, directing it. And somehow Amy and I did his first show. And we were a threesome at the time. And, you know, Bob was much older than us and he was sort of a mentor, but we could never convince him how great theater was in Raleigh.
No, not really. Yeah, he was very opinionated. Nice man. We miss him. I mean, we had a lot of nice luncheons with him. He's an interesting character, that's for sure.
I know. So this has been great, Amy. This is really strange, you know, talking to one of my best friends about theater when I kind of know all the answers, almost all the answers and stuff.
Yeah, we're sorry that Kathleen Rudolph wasn't here. I guess there was issues on her side, so.
I'll have to add a laugh track to this to add Kathleen's laughter because she always makes it a lot more enjoyable and stuff.
Well, I think you did a great job. You have. I've been really enjoying your work doing these interviews.
Thanks.
It brings me home a little bit. I'm going to get a little emotional now, I think.
Oh, it really is great. And thank you for bringing that up too, because we didn't know how many people are watching it and stuff. But like what you said, many of the actors watching it start answering the questions themselves. And
Yeah. It's fun. And I had such a great time with Allison, you know, Allison Lawrence, she didn't answer too many of the questions. There's, I think, 14 or 15. And I think we got through maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Just watch her laugh at her own story.
Oh, I know.
She's just joyful, and you know, I've just enjoyed, and Seth and Becca doing theirs.
Oh, yeah.
It's been really fun for me. So I miss you all very much.
Yeah, we all miss you too. I mean, you're still well remembered here as well.
Maybe I'll come back someday. I'm hoping.
Oh, you have to. Or we gotta do another movie. Amy and I have actually been in one film together, right?
No, it's 2.
2, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Night Interrupted and Lenny and Josh and stuff.
Doris and the Nasty Hooker.
Right. Yeah.
From A Night Interrupted. That's what they.
Yeah, and you were really great in Lenny and Josh.
It was fun to do. I had a good time.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you take care, and this has been a blast talking to you.
Thank you, Larry. I had fun.
I know we're gonna have to see each other in person.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah.
Visit Texas, you know.
I know. We'll come down to Florida.
Oh.
Who goes to Florida in August? See, only Amy knows that line and stuff.
That's from The Odd Couple.
I know.
People in an empty hotel room.
Can't we just do Oscar and Felix? I'll be Oscar and you be Felix.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done it twice. I did Felix, or you know, Florence, the female version. Then Olive, Oscar Madison, and now I'll go back to Florence, and you can be Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar. Yeah, that'd be a great part. Yeah. Well, you take care, Amy.
Thank you, Larry. You too. Okay. Nice to see you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.